You're now listening to Transforming Tears, Navigating Grief to Growth, where we discuss how to overcome grief to flourish in life, all while relying on God through the process.
The title for today's podcast is This Isn't Right. No, it's not right. It's grief. 10 ways to prevent being overcome with grief. So, my podcast won't always be a solo venture, but for today it is. Just me talking to you and sharing my heart. I started to journal, but then I knew that there were probably some other people feeling the way that I was feeling. So I stopped writing and started planning. So here goes. I was in a place where I thought I was doing good. Look at me, healing, hanging out with my friends, getting my therapy, journaling, figuring out my why, all the things. I'd even had a really good weekend. A great meeting with my ladies group on Saturday, followed by a budget planning session with a small group. You know, that may not sound like a great weekend to you, but as an accountant, what could be better? We had a small tropical storm roll through my area on Friday night, so all Saturday sports were canceled. I could just relax most of the day. No driving 40 minutes across town at 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. Saturday night, we hung out with friends, ate, and laughed. I literally had just made a video about how my friends heal me when we spend time together. So I was all healed. Life was good, right? Like Ice Cube said, today was a good day. So how did Good Day Saturday turn into Meltdown Sunday? My oldest daughter recently posted something on Facebook that discussed how sneaky grief is. It said, grief is very sneaky. A scent, a sound, a song, a smile becomes tears. For me, it was 2 songs. Let me give a little bit of context. Sunday is normally one of our favorite days of the week. After Ricky passed, it was too hard for me to go back to our church, the church that had been our home church for almost 15 years. The funny thing about that church is I started going there way before Ricky, but most people still referred to me as Ricky's wife because he was really outgoing. I'm more introverted. My last memory of our home church is Ricky's funeral and the outpouring of love that was shown to our family. I think I need to cherish that memory. I can't imagine walking into the auditorium and not seeing Ricky there, ushering, ready to seat us. I think it would hurt too much. I haven't tried, so I'm not sure. That may be something to revisit in the future when I'm feeling a little stronger. Anyway, said all that to say, we've been attending a smaller church for the past couple months. It's smaller than our previous church, but it's quickly come to feel like a second family. So what happened on Sunday? Well, that's a good question. Awesome service was wrapping up. We just had the communion. The band was going to play a closing song as usual. It just happened that that closing song was one that my husband Ricky loved. As I was worshiping, I started to choke back tears, remembering the Sundays when I would look back where he was ushering and see him raise his hands in worship. I made it through that song, wiped my eyes, hoping that my friends who were sitting beside me wouldn't see that I'd been crying. Don't judge me. I just really don't like to cry in public. Anyway, I was feeling confident that crisis was averted. But no, there was one more final song. This one was the one that was upbeat. My husband and I both loved. I think what made me sad was the fact that we used to laugh so much when it was on, making hand gestures, and just in general being goofy and having fun. In that moment, my mind started racing. I started to wonder, will I ever be truly happy again? I know all the good things that I believe, like the joy of the Lord is my strength, my happiness comes from my Heavenly Father. All that is true. And I'm not making light of these things because I know that if it wasn't for God, I would be in a very bad place right now. He is responsible for any peace, joy, anything good that I feel right now. But in that moment, it was easy to get caught up in comparison of the joy I used to feel when Ricky was in my life, compared with the emptiness that I often feel now. It was a reminder of the laughs that we shared and how my son sometimes says it feels like the house is too quiet now. I held it together until I got home and then allowed myself to cry quietly a little. Not too much, though, because I still had to take my son to youth group, and I try not to cry too much in front of him because he worries a lot. I am transparent about when I'm sad, but seeing people cry really affects him, and he was so happy that I was trying my best to keep it that way. But baby, when he got out that car, it was on and popping, full on sobbing. I got home, laid in the bed, and cried like a toddler who couldn't have another cup of juice. How did I get here? I felt exactly like I did a month after Ricky passed. I say a month after because for the first month, I was just in a daze. I was numb. I'm not even sure how I existed. I really needed the grief counselor of those days for the sole purpose of reminding me to eat and sleep. I think grief made my brain glitch or shut down or something like that. But this past Sunday night, I was back into full on despair. So, what do you do when the grief is overwhelming and you feel like you can't go on? Well, you fight. But what are some weapons and tools you can use to fight? That's what I'm going to discuss today. Because navigating the waves of grief can indeed be overwhelming, catching you off guard, even on what seem like good days. It's crucial to equip yourself with tools to confront and cope with these moments of intense sorrow. Here are some powerful tools to help you navigate through the darkest times of grief. Number one, reach out for support. Connect with a grief support group, therapist, or counselor. Talking to someone who understands grief can provide immense comfort and validation for what you're going through. I remember my grief counselor saying that most people who came to see her started with, "I think I'm going crazy." Although nothing is normal about grief, it's helpful to find out that other people have experienced some of the same craziness that you're going through. Number two, practice mindfulness and breathing techniques. Engage in mindfulness exercises or deep breathing to ground yourself in the present moment. It can help ease anxiety and bring a sense of calm during intense emotional moments. Number three, express your emotions through creativity. Journaling, painting, music, or any form of creative expression can be an outlet for your grief. Letting out emotions through art can also be incredibly therapeutic. This podcast is part of that expression for me. Getting the feelings out, talking to you is helping me. Like the song Encourage Yourself says, when I minister to you, I minister to myself. Number four, create new rituals or traditions. Establish new routines or traditions that honor your loved one's memory while allowing space for your own healing and growth. This is something I haven't tried yet, but I plan to. Right now, it feels like it hurts too much to do the things that Ricky loved without him. I've talked to fellow grievers who take comfort in celebrating their lost loved one by making their favorite meal or watching their favorite movie. I'll be glad when I'm at the point that I'm able to do this. Number five, physical activity and exercise. Engage in physical activities like walking, jogging, or yoga. Exercise can release endorphins, improving your mood and overall well-being. Two things I've done have been walking with friends and practicing yoga. Both have been very beneficial, and I can definitely tell a difference when I haven't been active. Number six, practice self-compassion. Be gentle with yourself. Acknowledge that healing is a process. Give yourself permission to grieve and recognize that it's okay to have good and bad days. Part of what made my meltdown worse was that I started getting extremely frustrated with myself for being upset and feeling like I, quote unquote, reverted back to a previous level of grief. I'm smart enough by now to know that grief is not linear. It's a crazy loop-de-loop roller coaster ride, and unfortunately, I was on a downtrend. Once I gave myself some grace and just let myself be sad, it was a little easier to recover. I let myself feel all the feelings instead of bottling them up inside. Number 7, memorialize and celebrate their life. Organize a memorial event or contribute to a cause in your loved one's memory. Celebrating their life can provide a sense of closure and purpose. A friend recently organized a blood drive in honor of her late husband's birthday. I thought that was awesome, and it gave me a couple of ideas for ways to honor my husband. Time to go into planning mode. Number 8, explore grief literature and resources. Read books or articles about grief and loss to gain insights, perspectives, and coping strategies. Knowledge can be empowering during challenging times. Once I got past the crippling grief and could remember to eat and sleep, I started to consume literature about grief. The most recent book I'm reading is called Healing a Spouse's Grieving Heart: 100 Practical Ideas After Your Husband or Wife Dies by Alan B. Wolfett. That last name is spelled Wolfelt. I found several books by him that seem helpful. Even just Google searches can be helpful to make you realize that other people are feeling what you're feeling. I remember Googling, "Do pets breathe?" at 2 o'clock in the morning. Good times. Number 9, engage in volunteer work for helping others. Channel your grief into helping others. Volunteering or supporting a cause can provide a sense of purpose and positively impact your community. My son and I volunteer weekly with an organization that we connected with through our church. Not only do we look forward to seeing and serving the same people every week, I feel like it really gives us a sense of purpose and some human connection. Number 10, consider professional help if needed. If grief becomes overwhelming or persistent, consider seeking help from a mental health professional experienced in grief counseling. There's no shame in needing additional help. Both my grief counselor and therapist have been able to give me unique perspectives that have helped me navigate this day-to-day journey. Remember, grief is a unique journey for each person, and finding what works best for you may take time. Give yourself the space and time that you need to heal. Don't hesitate to lean on a support network. You're not alone in this journey. And remember, I love you and I'm praying for you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Transforming Tears. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform so that you never miss an episode.